Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. What we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at our 2025 to 26 Alabama Crimson Tide football team. This is a team coming in with a lot of hype, a lot of promise this season. Nick Saban's gone. Kalen DeBoer took over last year. They finished 9-4, but they think this is the season. They're going to get to that 10-win mark. They're going to make it into the final 12. But what we're going to do is we're going to go game by game looking at their entire schedule, and we're going to predict the outcome for every single one of their games. Which games we think they're going to win, which games we think they're going to lose, and which games could potentially be toss-ups. Let me know down in the comments, do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on the 25 Alabama Crimson Tide football team? How do you think they're going to finish this season? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs? Leave the comments below. I will make sure that I respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look down at the pinned comment below, click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate that. We're going to be doing all these predictions videos for all of the teams in the top 25 before the season starts. These are the Vegas predictions, so I'm not saying they're going to win them. I'm not saying they're going to lose them. It's what does Vegas think is going to happen right now before we've actually seen these teams on the field during the regular season. And once the football season starts, that's college football and NFL, we do our predictions and best bets video, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders for all of the college football and NFL games every week, all the time, the entire season. So make sure if you're a sports fan, if you're a football fan, you like and subscribe to the channel. So looking at this Alabama Crimson Tide team, you obviously have Kalen DeBoer here, coming off of a 9-4 team season one. A lot of Alabama fans were not happy with the way the season ended. They did not make the playoffs. They had a bowl game. They lost their bowl game. Jalen Milroe is now gone off to the NFL. The big question here is who's going to be the starting quarterback as of right now. All eyes, all of the noise, the chatter coming out of Tuscaloosa says it's going to be Simpson. And just being honest, he's probably the one that fits Kalen DeBoer's type of offense the best. Kalen DeBoer, I think you're going to see more of that Washington Huskies offense coming out of Tuscaloosa this season. They're going to be going vertical. They're going to be dinking and dunking, pushing the ball vertically down the field. Ryan Grubbs now back teamed up with Kalen DeBoer. You know this guy can call offensive plays. You know they're going to move the ball. This offense is going to be much improved over last season. Not a knock on Jalen Milroe, but this is more in line with the type of scheme that they want to run. And you also have to remember, Alabama, they could not run the ball to save their life last season. They got to get that run game going. They got to get pushed from the offensive line. The defense was good last year, but it was, top 40. Top 30 good, not typical Alabama Crimson Tide, top 20, top 10 defense. They got to get the defense on track, but the main thing going for Alabama is they are returning a buttload of starters. Obviously, Ryan Williams back, one of the best young wide receivers in the entire nation. They have a lot of defensive players back. They're going to have a more experienced veteran team year two in the same system on both sides of the ball, and they did not lose one player in the transfer portal. Do you know how hard that is to do? They didn't lose anyone. The players have bought in. There's a culture now setting in for the Alabama Crimson Tide. They just have to make the playoffs. They just have to go 10-2. Maybe a 9-3 this season might still get them in the playoffs, but no matter what, this is a top 5, top 3 overall roster in the nation. They've been recruiting. They've been working the portal. They are stacked right now. And Kalen DeBoer does not want to be the guy after Nick Saban left that misses the playoffs 2 straight seasons because he would never hear the end of it. Looking at the schedule there, where you see the blue star. Blue star means that Vegas predicts they're going to win that game. Red star means that Vegas predicts they're going to lose that game. The yellow star means it's a toss-up. Not saying they're going to win it, not saying they're going to lose it. It's just there's too many unknown variables right now. Take, for instance, we haven't actually seen Alabama's full team on the field. We haven't seen Simpson start a real game versus real live competition. I'm not talking about spring football. I don't put too much into spring football because everyone looks good in the spring till the season starts. So we want to see all of those variables because there's a lot of teams breaking in new quarterbacks. It's not just Alabama. So we just want to see what those teams look like once we actually get closer to game time. But look at this wide receiver core. Horton, Bernard, Williams, Hale, Adams, the running back room, which is one of the areas that they really need to concentrate on. If you have Simpson at quarterback, you're going to have Miller, you're going to have Young. But let's not waste any more time looking at the roster. Let's start looking at the schedule now. Let's start breaking down these games one by one. They're going to start out the season on the road here. Pretty solid matchup, pretty solid out-of-conference game at the Florida State Seminoles. This game is going to be in Tallahassee Saturday, August 30th. This would have been a really fun game, 2 years ago. But FSU really laid an egg last year. 2 wins. Not a good season. There's going to be a lot of pressure here on Norvell to get things back on track. He lives and dies through the transfer portal. 2 years ago, they went undefeated during the regular season. Last season, he died with the portal. He's working the portal again. A lot of new faces on that Seminole squad. How do they look? They're going to have Castellanos as the quarterback position. Not necessarily the best thrower of the football, but Gus Malzahn will be calling plays. He'll be playing to his skill set, but he is a mobile quarterback. Florida State's going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to run the ball a lot, but they're going to be running into that Alabama front seven. And Alabama, what is the difference here? Alabama, year two, same system, same scheme on defense, lot of returning starters. That's what's going to make the difference. To me, they are going to be the Vegas favorite to win this game, and I think they're going to win it pretty handily. No matter what, that first game was the first time we got to see Simpson in some live action starting out of games. There's probably going to be a couple hiccups, some things that he needs to work on, but he has a cupcake game week 2 to kind of get those things ironed out. It's going to be Saturday, September 6th. The ULM Warhawks coming to Tuscaloosa, Alabama with the Warhawks team here. This is a team that Alabama should completely run roughshod over on both sides of the ball. Look for a lot of sacks, a lot of turnovers. They're going to dominate this game at the line of scrimmage. They're going to push them around. They're going to curb stomp ULM. They're going to win this game handily. Probably like a 54-6 type game. But more importantly, it's giving Simpson those reps that he needs before we get into SEC conference play. And then another solid out-of-conference game. We're going to be going back home to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The Wisconsin Badgers coming to visit. Don't forget, last season they went to Madison, Wisconsin. This is going to be Saturday, September 13th. A lot of pressure on Fickle here. He's got to get things sorted out. They're going to have a pretty decent defense, but not the Wisconsin defense of old that they had the last 2 decades. It's not that good anymore. They used to be known for running the ball downhill, just running at you, lining up in the eye, running it down your throat. They can't do that right now. But their offense is probably going to be better. You're going to have another season here. You're going to have a lot of pressure on Fickle to kind of modernize this team, get things back on track, but there's just a massive talent disparity. Bama's going to be the favorite. They're going to win this game probably by at least 2 touchdowns. And on Saturday, September 20th, we have a bye week. You want a bye week right here because of what's coming up the very next game. You want some time to prepare, get an extra full week to prepare just for the Georgia Bulldogs game coming up Saturday, September 27th. This is going to be the college football game day game. This is going to be a top 10 versus top 10, potentially a top 5 on top 5 matchup. Don't forget here, Kirby Smart really wants this win. He is 1-6 versus Alabama since he's been the Georgia Bulldogs head coach. Yes, he's still won national championships, but Alabama's been that thorn, that weight holding him down. He wants to fully take over the conference. He's at the top right now because Saban's gone, but until he gets rid of this Bama hurdle, he can fully cement himself as the top team in the SEC. This is 2 of the most talented squads in all of college football facing off, and whoever wins this game could potentially be the front runner to win the SEC, which is just going to get you that bye week because you'll be ranked so high in the playoffs. Right now, coming into this game, this is 2 stacked rosters. You have Stockton taking over for Carson Beck for Georgia. Georgia really worked on that wide receiver room, led the nation in drop passes last season, but just like Alabama, they had issues running the ball, and their defense was un-Georgia-like. They didn't have the defense of old. Look for that defense to be retooled, to be as aggressive as it used to be. Bobo, you got to get back with modern college football on the offensive side. I think that's an advantage Alabama here. Alabama, DeBoer, Grubbs, a modern offensive style, much better, sorry Georgia fans, but much better than the Mike Bobo offense. But this is 2 talented teams. Really, anything can happen this game. This game is going to be in Athens, Georgia. I have it marked as a toss-up. Alabama, you won it last season. You can easily win it again. If you force me to pick a team here, I'm honestly going to go with Alabama. But I think till we see these teams on the field, both breaking in new quarterbacks, it's going to be a toss-up right now. And then call it a revenge game. Saturday, October 4th, the Vanderbilt Commodores coming to Tuscaloosa. We know what happened last season. What an atrocious game that was. Trust me, the Alabama fans, you guys have not forgotten. Neither has Kalen DeBoer. And just the onslaught of just him getting trashed out of this game. They went to Nashville. They got the crap kicked out of them by Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia is back. They're going to be thinking that they can do it again. Sorry to burst your guys' bubbles. I do not see that happening. And yes, you have to take Vanderbilt serious. If you don't, look what happened last season. But Pavia, he likes to run around, scramble. He's a good player, keeping his eyes on the field. But massive talent disparity here. And there's the revenge factor. Bama is going to have this game circled on the calendar. I have them beating Vanderbilt pretty handily here. Probably by like 4 or 5 scores are going to win this game. They're going to be the favorite. And this next game, this has been a pretty tough team the last couple seasons. They've had a good defense, but they've been able to skate by with a pretty easy SEC in-conference schedule. At the Missouri Tigers, this game is going to be in Columbus. Saturday, October 11th. Missouri lost a lot of their best players. They lost Luther Burden. They lost Cook. So they're having to bring in a lot of fresh starters here. So I see Alabama coming in as heavy favorites. But Drinkwitz and staff, highly talented coaching staff. They excel at getting the most out of the players they have on their roster. But I do believe Alabama will be the favorite and that they will control the outcome of this game. And then what could have been a really massive matchup, Saturday, October 18th, the Tennessee Volunteers coming to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama wants to win this game. Don't forget, this is a team, a really good Tennessee team last season, went to the playoffs. They had Nico. They had a top 10 defense. They had the best running game in the SEC. Dylan Sampson was going off, led the SEC in rushing touchdowns. All those guys are gone. Nico transferred out. They are bringing in Joey Aguilar from UCLA. Kind of, I don't know if it's a step up or a step down at the quarterback position just yet, because we haven't seen him in Josh Heupel's offense. They didn't have much time to prepare because they transferred right around the time spring football was kicking off. They really did the Tennessee Volunteers dirty. But one thing about Tennessee, Josh Heupel's one of the best offensive minds in college football, but they lost a lot of their great playmakers, but they have a lot of new playmakers coming up. We just want to see them on the field and how they're going to look. Tennessee's going to have a good defense. They're going to have a great defensive line, good front seven, but they are also breaking in a lot of starters. A lot of guys went off to the NFL. I think Bama's going to be favored this game. I think they have a lot more returning pieces as of right now than Tennessee does, so I have to give them the nod, and they'll be the Vegas favorite. Now, an under-the-radar game that could potentially be a college football game day game. This is going to be the South Carolina Gamecocks. Who would have thought last season that this team would be potentially competing for a playoff spot in the 24 season? You Gamecocks fans knew that, though. This is a team, Sellers, what a season he had. He's throwing the ball, running the ball. They had a top 25 offense. They had a top 20 defense. They were extremely physical. Props to Beamer. He led this team. He got the most out of the talent on the squad. They are coming into this season with a lot of hype. They came out of nowhere last season. No one was expecting them to make the run they had. Now everyone's looking at them and they're giving them hype. The big question is, will they be able to live up to the hype now that everyone is expecting it from them? Some people thought they should have beat Alabama last season. Yes, there was a couple questionable calls there at the very end, but Bama did walk away with the victory. South Carolina, they want revenge here. Alabama wants to keep them from getting revenge. This game is going to be in South Carolina. It's one of those ones I have it marked as a toss-up. Bama fans, I'm not saying that you're going to lose it. It's just I want to see these teams on the field. I want to see how is South Carolina looking at the midway point. Have they been able to carry that momentum from last season, or are they kind of going to be a letdown this season? We don't know yet. And how's Alabama looking right now? If you force me to pick a team, I'm going with Alabama right now. But I want to keep my eyes on the Gamecocks here because they do have the talent at the skill positions to pull off the upset. And that was a little bit of an SEC gauntlet here. Not an easy schedule this year for the Crimson Tide. They have a well-earned bye week here. They need some rest, a lot of physical games, and then they're moving right back into the gauntlet. Saturday, November 8th, the LSU Tigers. This game is going to be in Tuscaloosa. This is Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly has a lot of pressure on this season. People want a playoff berth. He has a veteran, experienced team. Garrett Nussmeier back, stacked wide receiver room. They have year two with the Blake Baker defense. They're going to be even better on the defensive side, especially at the line of scrimmage here. But this is going to be a tough game. Both of these teams are competing and fighting for playoff spots. They are both two of the top 10 talented teams in the college football nation. This could also be a game day game. Alabama has such a tough schedule that there's a couple games. They might get, 2 or 3 college football game day games on their campus. It's going to be a fun season right now. Right now, LSU, I have to respect their offense. This game to me is going to be a shootout. Probably going to come down to that final possession. Whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. Either way, it's going to be fun for us college football fans. And I do consider this loss worse than the Vanderbilt loss because Alabama just got the crap kicked out of them this game. So this is a revenge factor game. Saturday, November 15th, the Oklahoma Sooners coming to Tuscaloosa. I do not see a repeat of what happened last season. That's not going to happen. Bama's not going to let that happen. Oklahoma, though, Brent Venables, they are going to be better than they were last season. They're going to have a top 20 defense. That's Brent Venables' specialty. He's worked hard on the skill positions, running back, wide receiver. A lot of injuries last season. They're going to be fully healthy. And they brought over John Mateer, the number 1 transfer portal quarterback in the nation. This is a guy who can throw for 3,500 yards. He can run for 800 to 1,000 yards. Dual threat quarterback. He kind of does it all. And he's bringing over his offensive coordinator from Washington State. So he's going to be in a very familiar system. But obviously, it's a step up in talent. Bama here, you are at home. You do not want to lose back-to-back seasons here versus the Sooners. I'm going to pick Alabama to be the Vegas favorite here. Keep your eyes on Oklahoma, but Oklahoma has the most difficult college football schedule of all of college football this season. Bama's up there top 10, but Oklahoma's, it's a gauntlet. They're probably going to beat up at this point. Give me Alabama to get some revenge, win this one at home. And thank God, Alabama just played like 5 or 6 straight ranked teams. They need a cupcake game. Our next game is going to be Saturday, November 22nd. The Eastern Illinois Panthers coming to Tuscaloosa. Bama's going to be able to take a breath here, get a nice shutout game. They're going to curb stomp them. It's going to be a 50, 60 to nothing, 60 to 3 type game, and they're going to obviously be the favorites here. And then closing out the season, none other than the Iron Bowl. The craziest things happen this game. Auburn always has a lead fourth quarter. Some crazy act of God happens, and Bama always walks away with the win. A win is a win. Bama, you always know how to close this game out. Auburn doesn't. Hugh Freeze here as the coach. A lot of pressure on him this season. He's been working the portal. He's been recruiting. He's bringing over Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma, the guy that pulled out the victory for the Sooners. How's he going to look in the Hugh Freeze offense? A lot of question marks there. A lot of new players coming in, but there's no doubt that Auburn does have a talented squad. They have a very good wide receiver room. ESPN ranked them as a top 5 overall wide receiver room, much improved over last season. They're going to run the ball. And they actually had a pretty decent defense last season. The issue stemmed around the quarterback position, so the pressure's on Jackson Arnold. How does he look here? He was a massive letdown last season, but the guy was a 5-star coming out of high school. There's flashes there. Maybe Hugh Freeze is going to be able to get the most out of him. Maybe this is the season they pull off the upset. I don't think so, but like most years, I do think Auburn's going to be competitive this game. They're going to make a game of it. It's a rivalry game. Throw the records out the window. Anything can happen, but I'm going to pick Bama to win it. Win it by at least 10 once the fourth quarter ends, and Alabama's going to be the favorite. So that's our 25-26 schedule there. If you count it up, you will notice I don't have any red stars. I do not have any early Vegas predictions for them losing any of these games. At worst case, it's a toss-up. So we have 9 blue stars. So the floor right now for Bama is 9 wins. Just like last season, I'm not saying they're only winning 9. It's just that is your floor right now. That almost got you in the playoffs last season. It might get you in this season, but I have 3 toss-ups. If you just win 1 out of those 3 toss-ups, that's 10-2 out of the SEC. You're making the playoffs. There's no keeping you out. If you take 2 of them, you are 11-1. You're getting in. You could sweep the toss-ups, and you're undefeated 12-0, and you're playing in the SEC championship. So everything is in front of Alabama. I do think they will be making the playoffs this season. Guys, that's our 25-26 Alabama predictions video. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, let me know down in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on the Alabama Crimson Tide projections this year? And if you want to sign up for one of our member teams, click on the pinned comment down below. You can sign up there. And guys, thank you for watching. It is always appreciated.